So now, after Porifera, we have the next phylum, that is the Coelenterata, which is also known as the phylum Cnidaria. So let's begin with that.
The members of this phylum are also known as cnidarians because cnidoblasts or cnidocytes are present on the tentacles and the body. They are aquatic, mostly marine, sessile, or free-swimming animals and possess radial symmetry. They show tissue level of organization and are diploblastic. Cnidarians have a central gastrovascular cavity with a single opening, which is known as hypostome. Cnidoblasts are used for defense, anchorage, and capturing of prey. Both extracellular and intracellular digestion is found. They exhibit two basic body forms called polyp and medusa. Polyps produce medusae by asexual reproduction, and medusae form the polyps by sexual reproduction. Physalia, Portuguese man of war, Panatula, sea pen, Adamsia, sea anemone, Meandrina, brain coral, and Gorgonia, sea fan, are some examples of cnidarians.
So now, after studying about Coelenterata and seeing its features, next up we have is Ctenophora. So let's begin with Ctenophora now.
Phylum Ctenophora. The members of phylum Ctenophora are also known as sea walnuts or comb jellies. They are exclusively marine and possess radial symmetry. They are diploblastic organisms with tissue level of organization. They have 8 external rows of ciliated comb plates which help in locomotion. Both extracellular and intracellular digestion occurs. The main characteristic of ctenophores is bioluminescence. Only sexual reproduction takes place. Fertilization is external with indirect development. Pleurobrachia and Ctenoplana are some examples of this phylum.
So now, after the phylum Ctenophora, we have the next phylum in order, that is Platyhelminthes. So let us study about the phylum Platyhelminthes now.
Platyhelminthes. The members of this phylum are known as flatworms because of presence of dorso-ventrally flattened body. Most of them are endoparasites in animals and human beings. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, and acoelomate animals. They exhibit organ level of organization. In parasitic forms, hooks and suckers are present. Some specialized cells, known as flame cells, help in osmerigulation and excretion. Sexes are not separate, that is, hermaphrodite. Internal fertilization takes place. Development is through many larval stages. Taenia, tapeworm, and Fasciola, liver fluke, are some examples of this phylum.
So I hope all the features of Platyhelminthes is clear to you. Next up we have is the Aschelhelminthes that we will be studying in detail.
Aschelminthes. The members of this phylum are known as roundworms. They are free-living, aquatic, and terrestrial or parasitic in plants and animals. They possess organ system level of body organization. They have bilateral symmetry. They are triploblastic and pseudocoelomate animals. Alimentary canal is complete with a well-developed muscular pharynx. Sexes are separate. Usually, females are longer than males. Internal fertilization takes place. Development may be direct or indirect. Ascaris, roundworm, Enclystoma, hookworm, and Wuchereria, Filaria worm are some examples of this phylum.
So now, after Aschelminthes, we have the next phylum, that is Annelida. So now let us talk about the phylum Annelida, which is one of the biggest phylums.
Phylum Annelida. Annelids are aquatic, marine and freshwater or terrestrial animals. They may be free-living and sometimes parasitic. They are metamerically segmented, triploblastic and coelomate animals with organ system level of organization. Their body is divided into segments or metameres. Aquatic annelids like Nereis possess parapodia, which help in swimming. Closed type of circulatory system is present. Nephridia help in excretion and osmoregulation. Neural system has paired ganglia connected by lateral nerves to a double ventral nerve cord that runs the length of the body. Sexual reproduction takes place. Nereis hirudinaria, blood-sucking leech, and Ferretima, earthworm, are some examples of this phylum.